everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Racer X Films, another garage build here. You know this face, Jay Clark. 2020 FC 270. That's right, you heard right, extra 20 cc's. You vet guys are salivating on your screens right now. I'm salivating to get this thing out there. I've always liked big bore 250, so Jay built another one, this time a Husqvarna edition. So Jay, tell us what's involved into this build and why you built it.
First, let's go backstory. You love that, right?
Yeah.
So, you weren't always a 250 big bore fan, not until it was like 14 or 15, we did those Yamahas. And you
correct.
With the former publication you were with, and you loved them. Yeah. No, so that's really got us, that was around 14 or 15, and we had a good time. And so, since then, now we got electric start, which makes it a lot easier. We don't have to worry about starting them, and those were kickstart bikes. So this is nice, we got electric start, of course. This bike, I got a good deal on the bike, right, kind of when COVID started, before things went crazy, right? Yeah. So I got a good deal on the bike. I'm like, I want to make a really nice looking bike. I don't like the stock Husky frame.
I like the white frame, by the way.
Yeah, that blue frame, I don't know what they're thinking because it doesn't match with anything. So the white or black frame is the way to go, and I like this white frame. So we took it down the frame, took the engine to Jamie at Twisted. You know the guy?
A little bit.
Yeah. So he goes through, and with our Cylinder Works big bore kit, he actually ports the head for the extra cc's. You don't have to do that, but that's going the extra mile, and that gives it, you know, because this thing's about 9 more horse than stock. So, and we could get a little bit more with different fuel. We're running just, you know, regular T4 right now. We're not running the super duper Pro 6. My wife doesn't let me run that because it stinks up the house.
It's too expensive as well.
Yeah, that too, but it seeps into the house, so she's about that. So he does the magic there and then maps it on the dyno, and the thing's just golden, you know, like the power-wise. I did one of these a couple years ago and just loved it, so I wanted to get a new one.
And we're working with the Vortex here?
Yeah, Vortex ECU that he maps, and it comes out really good. So that's the main thing on the engine, of course, with the FMF pipe. Those have even been hard to find lately with the inventory everywhere, so I've had to refurb this one. And so it's why it's not as brand new.
I think that's the key phrase of 2021 is refurb. So if you guys are looking to get a muffler, you might have to wait a little while, so you might have to repack yours.
Exactly. So we're running into some inventory issues all over the place, but luckily we're all good. And one of the cool things we did for this thing was put an MX-12 rear tire on here, because we want you popping wheelies up these hills at Glen Helen today. So I love this tire because I run it everywhere. And everybody goes, well, what about later in the day? What's the answer to that?
If it's soft to intermediate, MX-12 is very deceiving.
But what about me, as far as I don't ride later in the day?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So Jay's usually, it's already 9:30. Jay's already gone. So I'm usually pulling in about this time and Jay's leaving.
Exactly. So it works really well. And you'd be surprised at how well it crosses over into that harder pack stuff. So a lot of guys could get away, especially if they have an extra wheel. Have one of these wheels for your practice and maybe first moto. Have your 33 on you for your second moto and stuff like that. And even at Loretta's, if it rains, that's going to be nice in those ruddy conditions. So
let me look at this fork right here. What am I looking at right here? So what did we do here?
So Racetech went through and we put our KYB conversion on. I know you're kind of a fan.
I'm a little bit of a fan of a KYB fork, yes.
And it's not that I hate the air fork. We've talked about this before. I really like the air fork when I don't ride anything else. Right. So when I don't ride anything else, I get to where I really like it. I tune on it. It's really good. I'm totally happy. And then I hop on one of my other bikes. I hop onto my Yamaha or my Honda, and I go, wait a minute. It's not as good as I thought. So that's where I'm at with it. And I really do like I think the air fork is good for a lot of guys, and we use it trail riding a lot. But I've kind of gotten to where I like that dual spring feel. And so Racetech did this conversion for us. We're looking forward to seeing what you think of this thing on, you know, with Racetech doing it.
And of course, the beautiful motif you have going on here. Not only we talked about the white frame, but it's like a neon flow, white, black, and it's cool. It's a little bit different. It's grown on me. When I pulled up, I was a little bit shocked, but now it's grown on me.
Yeah, because it's retro and new all at the same time. A lot of things going on, and so it's a cool look. Decal Works made us some graphics that match the UFO flow plastic really well, and of course, Moto Seat always knocks it out of the park with making a seat that kind of, you know, complements all the colors. So it has an amazing look to it. We got P3 skid plates, scar foot pegs, TM designs, and the big thing is the wheels. Faster, he's so backed up on wheels, but he was kind enough to help me get a set made. So he helped me get a set made up, some good wheels. We wanted to have really good wheels on this thing. And then we have all of our Works connection bits. We run the stock clamps. What else? SUPERSPROX chain and sprockets is all of our key components. ODI bars and grips. Really like this Champ bin, and I've been now a huge fan of clamp-on grip.
So I'm going to ask you this question before we gather ourselves, and I'm going to go ride this thing. Are you going to keep this bike, or are you going to turn around and sell it? This is the question.
No, I get that a lot, but I will have it at least a year.
Okay.
At least a year. That's always not. I always have to keep them at least a year to get my kind of money out of it, and then sell it later. But I'm a 250 guy. I've been riding a 350 a lot more, but I really do prefer riding a 250F.
How much you weighing?
We're not talking about that. Well, I don't limit myself to numbers.
Well, I'm going to go ride this thing right now, Glen Helen, and see how it pulls my vet you-know-what around these hills. So stay tuned. I'm going to give you some feedback. All right, I just got off of the infamous Glen Helen Raceway. It's almost national time. Lots of pros out there today. Track wasn't too rough. Actually, it was a very vet-friendly test, which I like. So I haven't ridden that many big bores in my life. I've raced one. You guys know that story, I'm sure. But I will say the few that I have ridden, I've always had a good time on. So nonetheless, the 2020 FC 270 that Jay and Jamie have built, I would say, and if I was going to put this in a nutshell, who this bike is for, to me, this is a very 30s to 40-year-old kind of machine. I know Jay's up in his 50s, but I think it doesn't have as much bottom end as I thought it would have for a big bore. But what I do like from this machine is it has more than stock, because as you guys know, the Husqvarna is a little bit down on torque and bottom end in stock form in the 250 form. So adding a little bit more meat has helped, but coming from the few that I have ridden big bores, I would expect a little bit more. So that being said, this thing makes up for it in mid to top end. You would think having a big bore wouldn't rev out. That's false. This thing revs out really good. So if you want to be lazy and keep it in second gear down the straightaway, this type of machine does that for you. I like that. Yes, could I use a little bit more bottom end coming out of a sand corner? Of course, the MX-12 makes up for that, but man, what it does not lack in is mid RPM response and pulling each gear to its fullest. Second, third, and fourth gear are very usable, very vet friendly, like I said, and it is just an overall fun machine to ride. Like when I hop on it, I'm like, it doesn't sound like a big bore, it just sounds like a really healthy 250. So if you want to be a little bit disguised in your vet classes, hello, 270 kit could be for you. Overall suspension is built for Jay. It's a little bit soft for me, but man, it soaks up all the small bumps really well. The chassis for me as well, you guys know Husqvarna's turned very good. Straight line stability is really nice. And when you add horsepower, sometimes, just sometimes, the chassis gets worse. In this case, this 270 kit actually improves the chassis feel for me. I can get on top of the bumps sooner here at Glen Helen because it has more meat to it. So it doesn't sit in the stroke, it doesn't hit those square edge and swap me back and forth. I've had a couple close calls here today, but that was because of my technique and my riding style. So this bike provides an overall fun feel. It's very vet friendly. Jay wouldn't reveal his weight, but I would guess he's pushing 200 pounds. So don't think if you're a 200-pound C, B rider and you're gonna go have fun, a 270 kit is not out of the question. I also like that these kits, they're really reliable. I've had one for over a year, not this one in particular, but one of these in general in a Honda, and I ran almost 50 hours on it without doing nothing, and it's been very reliable. So couple that with a Vortex ECU and what Jamie did to the head itself, great time, lots of smiles. They do great work over there at Twisted, and of course Cylinder Works. They've been doing this stuff for a minute. So if you're looking for a little bit more fun from your 250, I would recommend getting a 270 kit. It does make me smile. I'm 40 years old, not a 250F guy. As you can tell, I'm not the king of the house anymore. My son beat me on a 250, so if I would have had this, I think it would have been a little bit different. So overall, very fun machine, man. I have a smile on my face. I'm leaving Glen Helen happy. That's not the case all the time. So don't forget to stay tuned to RacerXOnline.com for more information, more tests, more lifestyle videos, and of course the RacerX publication, 12 issues, 30 bucks. Get a free sticker kit, and we'll see you here next time on the RacerXOnline.com garage build. See ya.